All right, we want to bring in our Eric Flack, who has more. I see, Eric, you're monitoring Flight Radar 24, so you have more on the flight path of this American Airlines jet.
Yeah, that's right. So we're trying to get as much information as we can from verified sources to make sure we bring you the most accurate information. This is a source called Flight Radar 24. It is verified, so we do know that the information we're about to bring you is accurate and true. Now, this, as you mentioned, is the flight path. Let's take it right there from that flight taking off from Wichita, coming straight across the country, across Louisville, straight down to Washington, D.C., where it was supposed to land just a couple hours ago. Here's a closer look at what happened as that American Airlines flight A5342 made its final descent into Reagan Washington National Airport. That's it right there. This comes from a service called ADSB. That's a service, they crowdsource receivers and pick up signals from aircraft, and they track their positions all across the country. So these are verified information of where this flight was descending, probably at about 1,600 feet per minute as it approached Washington Reagan National Airport. Now, there have been others, images I've seen online that are not verified, but this is the general area of where we believe the collision took place. And that chopper, that Black Hawk chopper, really came from the right side right there and then into the Potomac River. So again, this flight was coming from across the country from the west there, just straight into Washington Reagan National Airport as it made its approach right there. It was that close, really, you know, just feet really from the runway before it was about to land, probably just seconds before it was about to land at the time of impact. And then we've seen those awful images of that fiery crash into the Potomac River and those two aircraft, we now believe both in the Potomac River. So we are continuing to get more information. One of the biggest questions is going to be how much communication there was right here between this American Airlines craft, that chopper, Black Hawk helicopter, and tower control, air traffic control at Washington National Airport. I've talked to a couple of different experts who say, and quite obviously, there has to be a ton of communication in normal circumstances that's going on between any sort of aircraft that are in the air, particularly and air traffic control. We've talked about the near misses. There was no, it was nighttime, it was dark. So really the communication piece is all they have to go on to make sure tragedies like this don't in fact happen. Somehow that failed here, and we now know that it had tragic consequences. We're going to continue to stay on these images to try to learn more. Guys?
Yeah, a lot to figure out here. Flack, thank you.